coordinating this session. Please continue your lecture on this. Why we need campus presentation. Please continue your why a physical campus matters in higher education. Please continue your. So there is some technical.
Okay, I really I made a PowerPoint and I could be a co-host. I can share that. Okay, can you make me co-host? Okay, great. All right, hi everybody. So my name is Nicholas Cambio. I'm a professor of political science at Fordham University, and one of my research areas is higher education policy. And my training is as a political theorist and as a philosopher. And what I want to do is draw upon some of my research in philosophy, and I've been reading about neuroscience, and I want to explain why a physical campus matters. What you're seeing all around the world is people making arguments, good arguments, about why we should move to online education. That it's cheaper. Is the number one thing that you can offer lots of people a good education for a low price. So the first argument is that it's cheaper. The second argument is that you can offer good quality through quality control. Sometimes their teachers do a bad job, and if you have one really good teacher, you can have them record lessons and teach lots of people. And the third reason that I've seen, and this isn't always said out loud, is that you can do political control. So if your party's in power, you can basically make sure that the students are all learning from the person in your political power. That all around the world, academics can be a problem for politicians. So one way for politicians to control academics is to use online learning as a way to prevent them from saying things that can't be heard or followed from the central place. But I'm going to focus on the first two reasons. It's cheaper and it offers standardized quality. Those strike me as good reasons for online education, and I feel like I need to explain why it's really important, even after COVID, hopefully we're after COVID, why it's very important that we have physical campuses. So here's my argument. Yes, distance learning can offer high quality, low cost education to many. But so can books, right? The notion of learning from somebody who's not there is as old as books. That you know, whenever you read I've written a book. You can read my book. You can learn from me. I don't have to physically be there. And yet we still have universities. We still have colleges. That books haven't replaced colleges and universities. Something important still happens in higher education that you can't get from reading a book. And my argument is that human beings have bodies. That when you do online learning, you're using your eyes. But you know, we have smells, we have hearing, we taste, we feel warm. When we laugh together, it's different than when we're laughing by ourselves. I read a very fascinating book by Scott Grafton, who's a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco, and he's talking about all the complexities of physical intelligence. He's talking about all the different senses. I mean, there's so many more senses than we're aware of, and they all work together in very complicated ways. And so our whole bodies are involved in learning, and yet when we're doing digital learning, we're almost exclusively focused on the eyes. So why does a physical campus matter? I'll make several different arguments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about these, if these are good arguments. What your perspective is in India. I obviously know the United States situation better than India. I've gone my trips to India. I hope to go back. But for now, my example will be based on America. Why does a physical campus matter? First, to make this leads to economic benefits, and these lead to political benefits. So there are many reasons why a physical campus matters. That if you don't have a physical campus, your educational experience is going to be much poorer than if you're on a campus with other people. So I'll start. Here's a picture of a new building at Fordham University in New York City, where I teach. That when I started teaching, what you see right now is when I started teaching, there was trees there, and now you can see this beautiful building with glass windows. And so Fordham, where I teach, invested millions of dollars to build this building. They could have used it on something else, but why did they decide to invest in this physical campus? Well, here's a picture when you walk inside of the students. So I took this picture a few days ago, and if we were together at our Asst, what do you see? Well, you see students doing their work. So in the bottom, in the bottom right, you can see this woman working. That's the Fordham interface for online part of the course. That's called Blackboard. So she's doing school. The woman next to her is checking her phone. On the left, you see people playing billiards, pool. You see lots of laughing. You see students with backpacks. You see the area is filled with people. And, there are some people who are sort of sitting by themselves, right? You see the woman by the window, and yet she still wants to be around other people, right? If she wanted to be entirely by herself, she could go to the library, right? There's some quiet spots in the library, but she wanted to be near other people. And what I want to argue in my talk today is what you're seeing here matters. That this is a very important part of higher education. That what students do in my class at Fordham is important, but what's happening here is also very important. Here's another section. This is in atrium. When you go to the next room, right, you just see lots of, gosh, I just see one of my students there. I didn't recognize that person. But that you just see, it's a beautiful spot. People want to be there. People are talking with one another. Sometimes it's serious about school. Sometimes it's serious and not about school, right? What I want to argue is that what you're seeing here, social interactions, are good in themselves and have good consequences. So what is happening here? Students could be by themselves in their rooms. They could be at home. They don't have to be at Fordham's campus. But they choose to be there. They want to be around other people. And my thesis is that physical co-presence matters. Being physically present with other people matters. And I'll give you some examples from outside of the university. People go to restaurants. Right? Why do we go to restaurants? Because we want to be around other people, or bars. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about the notion of a wedding, right? That part of a wedding is being with other people, and the smiles, and the laughter, and the dancing, and the drinking, and the eating, and right? There's all sorts of important things that happen in the wedding that when you think about putting it online, and you want to cry, right? It's just so much more a narrow experience. Any kind of sports game, right? You can play a game on a computer, but that's nowhere near as fun as playing with other people. Or say for watching it, is that in America, in the United States, when they started televising football games, American football, there was a fear that people would stop going to the stadiums, because actually if you just want to watch the sports, it's better to watch it on TV than to go to the stadium. And yet people want to go to games, right? They want to feel the energy, the excitement, the camaraderie, the friendship of being at a sports game. And for all of these, you must be there, physically be there to experience. And I'm going to say, I'm going to make the same argument, that if you want to get the most out of higher education, you have to be on the physical campus. The physical campus matters. So you obviously can learn some things on a computer by yourself at home or by yourself in the library. But you're going to lose a lot of very important things. So the first benefit is happiness. That I think college should be fun. I think that we should enjoy going to college, and this is a wonderful time in life. You're no longer a child in school. You have a certain amount of freedom. You haven't entered the workforce yet. Society has said we're going to create a space for you to develop yourself, learn. So I think that young people should enjoy this time of life. This is very important. This is a time to make friends. This is the time to fall in love. In my parents' generation, it was many students graduated college either married or planning to get married. It was changing when I was a student. It's different for my students now. But it's still, I would say, people still find their partners through their universities. Sometimes it's a reunion event, sometimes it's an alumni gathering, or sometimes it's universities have events for people to get together, right? So I would still say that it's a place for people to find their spouses or to date or to experience that side of life. And students make connections, right? And that's where I think we see a pivot between just the intrinsic benefit and the instrumental benefits. I graduated from college in 1995. On a daily basis, I would say I'm in touch with a dozen students I went to college with. We're just constantly in conversation with one another. The second benefit is economic. That what you're seeing right here in this picture is people making connections that are going to lead to business opportunities. That I read a very interesting book about applying for jobs, and one of the things I learned is that people who offer you a job are often not your immediate connections, but the next circle. So if these people are talking with one another, they're not necessarily going to offer each other the job. They're going to say, hey, listen, my uncle is looking for some computer engineer. Maybe somebody like maybe you should apply. Or, hey, listen, I heard about this job opening. This is something you could look at. Or so basically that even though these people likely in the beginning of their careers will not be hiring one another, they're going to put each other in a web of connections. And I would say honestly that's the reason that many people in America send their children to college is because it's the economic advantages of being part of this social web. So I'm not saying it's fair, I'm just saying that's how it happens, right? That you could have somebody who learns the skills by themselves in the library, or you could learn somebody who learns the skills on campus with lots of other people and is part of this network of connections. And this person who has a network of connections is going to do better on the job. I'm not saying it's fair, I'm just saying that economic connections pay off. And what I would also say is that this is the seedbed of entrepreneurship. That in America, at least, many of our most famous companies started by people in college. That young people full of ideas are talking with other people and they're generating ideas. So there's some very famous examples where Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook when he was an undergraduate at Harvard. But there are many other such examples. I was just speaking with a student this past week. He had started a business at Fordham. That Fordham has something, incubation lab, where they encourage, where they help people get started on their careers, or starting businesses. I've evaluated applications and seeing that young people are they're groups of 5 or 6 students, and they come together and they say, what's an opportunity for us to make money? So I would say that, it's not purely happiness, although for me that's enough, but I realize other people will want to see benefits, and I would say, well, one benefit is economic, that these people here are starting businesses and making connections. And the third benefit is political, that when you read great political thinkers, they realize how important it is for people to form civic friendship. That this is a line from Aristotle, that for the city to work, people have to trust one another, people have to like one another. Not, you're not going to be that strong with everybody, but you do have to open the door for other people. You have to pick up garbage on the street. You have to help somebody who falls. And one of the things about colleges, when they work, is that they bring lots of different types of people together. That you've got, when you're younger, you have your circle of friends and family. But when you go to college, the circle gets bigger. And, especially, I can talk from the example in America, but in America, you have guest speakers from all around the world, all around the country coming to you. So you're making friends with, your roommate could be from Texas, your teacher professor could be from France, your guest speaker could be from India. That is really giving you a chance to become friends with lots of other types of people. And I would say that this pays political benefits, right? That in America we have Democrats and Republicans. If you put Democrats and Republican roommates, they can become friends. And now all of a sudden, the divisions between them don't become so serious that you can't become, that it doesn't stop people from becoming friends. I hope that this point makes sense, that colleges can be a chance for people to mingle and interact with one another and form something called social capital. And social capital is sort of these casual interactions with other people that lead them to want to help and you to help them. Harvard political scientist wrote a book about falling in love about the importance of social capital. And I would just say a place like what you're seeing in this picture right now is young people making social capital. So this is my final slide, and I would love to hear questions or thoughts or objections. So you could decide, listen, it's too expensive, we're not going to do it, and we're just going to work online. And I would say, well, the richest students will find a way to get a real college experience. So I teach at Fordham in New York City, and I have students from around the world who want the kind of education we provide at Fordham. So I have students from China, India, Hong Kong. I have Singapore. I have different places that these students, the parents realize that you get a wonderful education at a college like Fordham, and they want to send their children here. So what you can decide is, all right, just a handful of children will be able to go outside of the country and get a really good education somewhere else. Everybody else will get this sort of basic education. Or, which I think is a much better option, you do invest in physical campuses. And the advantages are more students will enjoy themselves. They'll make good memories. We should enjoy our lives. We should enjoy this time of our life, and we're not yet starting to work, but we're sort of young adults. So more students will enjoy their studies. Young people will make connections. They'll become friends with other people in a way that's much harder online. That people want to be together. You don't want to sit in your room and drink by yourself. You want to go to a bar and drink with other people. Right? So the colleges are a chance to, physical campus is a chance to make connections with other people. This is a chance to create a place where people start businesses. And you have to have a fun environment for people to spend time together to lead the businesses. So fun's important for its own sake, but fun's important because it leads to connections that lead to businesses. And then I'm just going to say that there are political dividends, that a lot of countries around the world are divided politically. There's a lot of anger between different groups. And one way to overcome that anger is to bring young people together in a happy environment, coming from different parts of the world, different parts of the country, different political parties, and becoming friends. So that's my presentation. I'd love to hear questions. face-to-face diplomacy. And what he discovered is that diplomats, when they have to talk with other diplomats, they really insist on getting together in person. And so his example is at the end of World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt was very, very sick and almost about to die, and yet he made all the effort he could to get to Malta to meet with Churchill and Stalin. And he knew, and diplomats know, that the depth of relationship you can have in person is much deeper than the kind you can have on screens. So I acknowledge your point, right? I'm talking with India right now, so this is a wonderful opportunity. And yet what I'm scared of is people are going to say the pandemic has shown the benefits of screens, we no longer need to do in-person events, or those are no longer very important, or no longer worthy of investment. And I want to say, listen, we still need to do physical activities too.